Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. So, as usual, before we dive into everything, first of all, I hope that everyone had a great weekend, as usual. And before we dive into everything, let's make it quick. Could you let me know if everything is good, the sound, the video, and if we are indeed live, which we should be. Okay. So, yeah, I'll just give a couple of seconds for the live chat to get going if we have anyone, and then I will dive into the analysis. Mm-mm-mm. So, let's see. Okay, so we might not have too many people today. I guess maybe a summer Sunday. I don't know. In any case, I think we'll dive into everything, and if we have any problems, well, that will be unfortunate, but everything should be fine. So let's do a quick recap of what happened this week. Personally, I was looking to play the short side mostly for one main reason. Atom mate, yes, I hope you're doing well and thank you for confirming. So a quick recap for this week. Personally, I was looking to play the short side for one main reason, as I said, and that was because we had this wickless daily candle, which is also an imbalance on Binance. Let's go back to Bybit. It's this daily candle. So again, I was looking to play the short side. When we got this daily imbalance at the very bearish close, that's when I looked for my shorts. If we go over to the Discord, when we lost the daily open on Monday, okay, so it was right there. I wanted to see $116,500 next, so I waited for the short, took it, which was a loss. And after this one, I just didn't want to open any more short positions. This was explained in Thursday's update. The update, yes, it was on Thursday. So after this, I didn't open any new short position, which was the right idea because we just ended up making a new all-time high, and then we got that rejection, which was a 12-hour imbalance at dice as well. We had one support. Again, this was shared during the Thursday's update. When we dropped into it, even though we had good volume, I wanted to wait for the 30-minute close. Okay, so the close of this candle. The reason for that, you had to be patient, was very simply because the 12-hour was looking pretty bad. I mean, you had the imbalance and you almost had an engulfing pattern. And again, in the end, being patient was the right play because we just dropped much lower, as you know. Unfortunately, I was looking for the short. I was just waiting for a bounce. Again, this was explained in the update. I was waiting for a bounce to open a short position, and my first target was simply my support level. And if we lost it, I did say that this could turn into a very nice swing trade, which, if we go over to the charts, well, it did. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't get the bounce first, so it was right there. We had 330 minutes. I was mainly looking for a bounce. Did I change it? I was mainly looking for a bounce maybe into the midpoint of this imbalance, so something like this and then down. Didn't happen, unfortunately. So if anyone was more aggressive, of course, this was a better play. But being patient right there, unfortunately, didn't pay off. We just rolled over after the update, lost the support level, and then just moved straight down. So that was mainly it for this week. A week of being patient, waiting for the shorts. Fortunately, maybe I was a bit too patient there, but at the same time, we had three imbalances, which to me is always a sign to be like to wait for a bounce. This time it didn't pay out, but in any case. Hello, Roderick. I hope you're doing well. So that's mainly it for this week. One short taken. Where is it? This was the short, which did offer a pretty nice reaction at first, and then of course we recapped what happened after this. So with that said, let's dive into today's price action. We got the drop after losing my support level, and my first target remains to be reached, $116,500. So just by looking at this, I can already come up with I would say two pretty interesting scenarios. The first one, on the 12-hour, we have this imbalance. Okay, beyond the daily, looks like this will be the midpoint of the daily imbalance as well. So this would be $120,800. I hope that you guys can see as well. So I would just mark 120.7. Let's give it a bit of leeway to the downside. Let's go back on the 4 hour. It's a 4 hour imbalance as well. On the 1 hour, it's a 1 hour imbalance. So the area to the upside that I want to focus on this week will be this one, okay? You have a bit of an order block, not the strongest one, but still order block imbalance, 12 hour, 4 hour, and midpoint of the daily candle. So this would be my area to the upside. If you break it, I think you could rally much higher, okay, for a new all-time high. But if you move into it, you get the reaction, look for lower. To the downside, 116.5 hasn't changed, but I did have one level which was outlined last week. I removed it because you moved higher, and it would be this 4-hour imbalance, 114.7. So could you check Chainlink? Of course, we'll dive into some altcoins. I am actually interested in trading one altcoin, so we'll dive into some altcoins after Bitcoin. So we have two levels below us, okay? We have a nice confluence on them as well. If you take the volume profile of this range, what happened to it? So you have the value area low just below my first level, which is also a target for the move down. So this is already a pretty interesting area, as you can see. For this second area, level, I mean, I do remember that we had a point of control. So let's add developing point of control of the move up. And this one comes below it. Did have a point of control there. That's weird. So it looks like, yeah, we do have a point of control right there, as you can see. 114.7. It's this red line that you can see. I forgot how I found it before. Maybe it was just the range. Still below. It's still below. Yeah, okay. So you can see we have volume traded down there. Okay, it's this point of control, but in any case, if you take the bigger range, you can see it was the previous point of control as shown by this red line. So this would be the second level. I would say right now it's a bit stronger for one main reason. If you go on the daily, you had such a big drop, okay? Even if you go on the 12 hour, you had such a big drop. It's just a bit unrealistic in my opinion to expect a drop and then a full-on V-shape recovery. After such a big drop, I do believe that you need a bit more time to form a low before moving higher. So that's enough yapping about the logic of every single level. Let's dive into how you can play around them. Personally, I would look at one main scenario, okay? That would simply be a drop, okay, into this first level, to then see a bounce to this resistance, then see another drop, and then if this holds well, you can look for something like this, okay? So a bit more ranging maybe here maybe to look for that move higher afterwards. If we drop now, okay, so if we drop today or tomorrow and you have nice volume on the drop, I do believe that this will offer a nice long position. You moved into it, again, nice volume. This should offer a nice short position. Same thing with this level. Now, you could have a bit of a variation of this scenario, which could offer a bit of a better short position. And that would be that if you remove this, if you move up straight from here, okay, so you move up without taking out the wickless daily candle, this would offer a very confident short position just to take it back down to the wickless daily. Okay, at this point, I'm pretty confident that you would have lower targets towards sub $115,000. Okay, so this would be just a variation of the first scenario that I shared. In both cases, either if you see a move up from here or if you take the low one more time, in both of these cases, this should offer a very nice short position. Okay, if you get the reaction, of course. Take it back down to down there. And of course, there we can see, do we get the bounce or do we continue lower? So that would be it for Bitcoin. I will just outline this scenario quickly, and that would be that, of course, you could do something like this, drop straight down, and then from there you see the recovery. Not the biggest fan of this scenario, simply because this downtrend has been a bit suppressed. So I do believe that above this high, you do have a lot of liquidity. So that's why, again, main scenario, drop, bounce, then back down, and then you can see what happens, okay? And a variation of this scenario is, once again, you don't take out the wickless daily candle, so maybe a small drop. up, in which case this would offer a much more confident short position. So that's enough yapping for Bitcoin. The levels are pretty clear. 116.5. In this case, you want to look for a bit of a deviation below. Okay, so maybe to take out this low. Okay, so you could mark out this low if you want. So you would look for a move a bit lower potentially. I will just draw it one last time. So just a bit of a deviation up, then back down, then something like this. And that would be it for my scenario. What is this? And this is the, okay, we don't need this anymore. So that would be it for Bitcoin. Let's dive over to Ethereum. So on Ethereum, okay, we mainly had two main levels in this uptrend. The first one was this one, which offered a very nice long position. The second one, you can see this scenario, it was outlined in my last YouTube update. Unfortunately, it didn't play out. I want to see a drop, to see a bounce. This was the first target, 4.5k. We didn't see the drop first, which is not a big problem. But if you were not in a long position from down there, of course, it would have been nice to see this. You can remove this, you can remove this. So on Ethereum, this is one pretty good conference for Bitcoin. I would say that it is pretty unlikely that we front run the all-time highs. So when you combine this with Bitcoin, that's when you can build a bit more confidence in these support levels to offer a bigger bounce for a new all-time high, simply because, again, I am expecting at this point at least a new all-time high to be made. So for Ethereum, what support do you have below? I think this would remain the same, honestly. Was this a wickless daily? So it was a wickless daily. This looks like a nice support area. And I would just add one more level, which would be this partially filled for our imbalance. Now where's the anchored VWAP? Okay, so it's already above my level, kind of unfortunate. Look at something, 4%. Okay. You have the point of control up there, which would be... I'm not in love with this level though. So for Ethereum, you probably have... I'm a bit more confident in this level than this one below. I don't know if it will drop that much. I think 4.1 is already good. So potentially on Ethereum, you wait for this level to get reached and you see if it offers a bounce to the upside. And if you lose it, very simply, you look for this lower level. This will depend on Bitcoin, of course. How low does Bitcoin go? And of course, does it actually hold our support levels? Because if you lose 114.7, well, you will probably make your way down to $111,000. Okay, for now, I'm not really expecting this. But you know, if we are offered that short and then we lose these levels, then this would simply offer very nice short position for a bigger drop to the downside. Okay, so initially this will probably be your short. First target there, 114.7. And then if you lose it, you'd have a much better target. Okay. So that's enough for Bitcoin and that's enough for Ethereum. Okay, so two levels below, I am a bit more confident in this level, 4.1k. But if you do lose it, look for $4,000 to hold. So bit late, but listening at 2x speed. Okay, I hope you're doing well, Jean-Pierre. By the way, in the live chat, if anyone wants me to do these lives a bit later or a bit earlier, just let me know. I don't have a problem moving the time of the lives. But for myself right now, I think this is the best time. I'm not too tired at this point, and it's not too early for some people. But again, if anyone wants me to do them a bit later or a bit earlier, you can let me know in the live chat or maybe in the comments after the live. So you wanted me to look at what was it? Link? Let's look at link. Let's look at link. I mean, that was a very nice support down there. That's all I'm gonna say. But it is looking pretty impulsive right now. Can already see this partial fill. The weekly, wow, we have a weekly imbalance. I mean, do we actually drop to that level? Let's see from the low. Okay, so this would be, I think, your big level to hold. You have a daily imbalance on the value area high. This would be your bigger value area high on this daily imbalance. And yeah, I don't think you want to look at more volume profiles after this. Is just a bit stupid, I think. Okay. So you have two levels on Link to the downside. If you're looking for resistance, is this a coin that you want to short? I don't know. I think it looks pretty strong. Target to the upside. Ideally, you want to look for the fill of that weekly. Not gonna talk about this because it's so far away, but logically you would expect this one to get filled. Plus, it's a 3-day imbalance. Do you have anything above? You don't, and you don't really have anything above there. So logically, your target will be, it's a daily imbalance as well. Okay, so you have a weekly, 3-day daily imbalance, and you have liquidity up there. If Link can maintain its strengths, you would look for a move up there. Does it drop to these levels? Honestly, I am not very confident. I don't believe this will happen simply because you have a weekly imbalance. Okay, so actually recovering this would be a sign of weakness, which is why I don't know how strong this level is. You could look maybe if you get a bit more chop on Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe you drop to the midpoint. I think this would be a better scenario actually. So take the midpoint of the weekly. Would be somewhere around there. So let's take just below 24. 3-day, you have a 3. Okay, that would be nice. I do prefer this one a bit more. 4-hour. Okay. So a bit of a better scenario on Link might be that it drops just to here. Move up to take out this liquidity above this high. And if it does want to drop, this will depend on Ethereum, of course. So ultimately on Bitcoin, you would look for that liquidity grab and then for a drop to here, which will be the big level to hold for a potential move higher. I'm not super confident in this scenario playing out, but looking at this daily imbalance, honestly, I don't like it because of the reasons just explained. But again, a first nice support should be the midpoint of this weekly imbalance. Okay, you have a nice daily high right there. Yeah, I think this should be your most likely scenario on Link. At least this should offer a first trade. So 24 up to the liquidity above 27. And you do have a nice 12-hour imbalance. So this is what you want to mark out actually instead of this high. So something like this. Okay, so that would be it for Link. I think I like this scenario. I like this scenario. Wouldn't look to trade it because it's too aggressive for me. But that's for myself. That's for the way that I trade. So one more altcoin, Solana. Nothing on Solana super interesting. XRP, nothing. So there was one coin that I wanted to cover. What happened to Kaito actually? Yeah, okay, so you can see we did a quick analysis on Kaito last week, and I did tell you that the level to break was this area. If you didn't break it, there was no point to look for longs, and as you can see, you got the rejection off of this area for lower prices. So for Kaito, if anyone is interested in it, this remains the same. This is the level to the area to reclaim for it to look strong again. Above this, below this, there's just nothing in my opinion. So I did want to look at TNA because I am probably interested in trading this one. You can see I have my first level, which should be the daily imbalance. I want to keep this. I can remove. I want to keep this for myself for later. So daily 12-hour on the 4-hour. I want to look at this. Nice voice crack, by the way. So now I can remove this. So on ENA, I have two levels. Very simple for this one. Okay. Either you drop here and you bounce higher, or you will have this second level. I am a bit of a bigger fan of this one because it's a psychological level as well. You can see I have an alert for when it drops, 0.6, I do prefer it a bit more. So maybe drop, bounce, sideways, down, and up. I wanted to look at more confidence for this coin, so that's why I'm outlining these levels quickly. Let's see the volume profile. Developing. Okay, so you have the point of control right around there. Do I like this daily actually? It's nice. So you know what? Let me change it. I want to be more forgiving for this coin. This would be your area. Let me remove this. I'm gonna move this down to 0.625, let's call it. 0.625. So on Yana, I think this should be your area. I found my confluence. That's enough for me. If we can find an anchored view up, that would be even better. Ooh, that one comes in just a bit high, so no anchored view up. But I think this is enough for me. If you want to look for continuation higher, ideally you just don't lose that level, that area. So you'd come back below, okay, in this area. Then you look for that move up. That would be it for Yana. Pretty simple area for this one, which is why I am interested in this coin. Should have traded it back here. Pretty stupid move on my part, but it is what it is. And that's it for Yana. Hello, I would like 1 hour later. Oh, okay, for the live stream. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. 1 hour later. Could we make a vote? I don't know how to make a vote actually for the time of the live stream. I would like to make a vote, but I don't know how to. Maybe we'll do this inside the Discord. What alt are you interested in? Well, I just showed this. It will be ANA. When are you trading at actively? What are you looking at most of the time? Well, honestly, it will just be imbalances. Just imbalances on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and 12 hour. Okay. You can see on the 12 hour, the imbalances offered 12-hour imbalance. You got the retracement, 12-hour imbalance. This offered a much bigger drop. And right there, if you remember for this low, 12-hour imbalance, this offered the support for a move much higher. And before I forget, of course, if you want access to my indicator, it's just available inside of our courses at crypto.com. I don't market this too much, which maybe I should, but it's right there inside of our courses. I dive into it. It's a 1 hour course, and I will be adding lessons. So yeah, again, 12-hour imbalance right there. You can see, boom, you moved higher. So yeah. I always look at imbalances. ETH could make an all-time high while BTC goes sideways without making an all-time high, right? That is very possible indeed. Okay, that is very possible. And that's why I kind of analyze them separately. Okay, you can see I have this scenario on Bitcoin, which is not very dependent on Ethereum. And on Ethereum, well, I will say that this one might be a bit more dependent on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, I mean, but I mean, dropping into this level, things should give you that that nice rally for a new all-time high. Which ultimately, I don't want to talk about this now, but this could mark the top of the market. I think we're getting a bit overextended on everything. I don't love the environment right now, so maybe a new all-time high on Ethereum and a confirmed deviation. Okay, so getting back below, I think this could mark a market top. But for now, you look for. I think you. I mean, it makes sense to expect a new all-time high, but I would be very cautious on what happens after that. And that's why one more time, this short on Bitcoin could be very interesting to take, because if we are indeed, if this was a top, which I wouldn't give it too much probability of it being the high, but I think it's a decent one. I would say maybe around 20%. This short position could simply turn into a much bigger one. Okay, so initially, again, if you move up first, as outlined in the variation, this should be your first target. But then if this ends up being a top, of course, then this will turn into something like this, okay, which will be a massive short trade. I don't talk about this because it doesn't make sense. You have the supports below. But again, I'm just keeping in mind that you had too many imbalances on the move up. I mean, you can see 12-hour imbalance right there, 12-hour imbalance, 12-hour imbalance. I'm not loving these moves higher, so I'm just being a bit more cautious right now. I really like the course, super valuable content. Thank you, Jean-Pierre. Or alts depending on ETH to pump? Well, in my opinion, they are. Except super strong alts like ENA, and that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in trading this one. This one could simply pump on its own, and I think Pengu, yeah, Pengu has just this one. Maybe it's done, I don't know. But yeah, super strong coins could pump on their own, like this one. But yeah, overall, when you're talking about other altcoins like Solana, you can see Solana is being a bit slower than other altcoins. It's not being super impulsive. Yes, they will be dependent on Ethereum. And my base case right now would be for us to get a top on Ethereum above the all-time high. So maybe deviate above it, come back down, and this would mark your market top. So yeah, do you have any more questions? Can you look at the S&P? It's been a while actually since I've analyzed the S&P. Let's look at it. So that's where I do my analysis. The last time was this level, which did off. So I'm surprised we didn't fill that gap still. So on the S&P, I mean, there's not. Let's see on the 3-day. Volume. Thing is that you would like to see certain imbalances on the breakout. So for example, if you had a daily imbalance there, it would have been a good sign, or maybe even there. But you're not really seeing a lot of volume coming in, which is a bit concerning. I mean, the only imbalances that we got were on this drop. So, I mean, imbalances are not gonna help me here. It's very simple, honestly. So what you would do is do just the standard analysis, which I don't love. Okay, you can look at the RSI on the daily, and you can see you have a bearish divergence, a very strong one actually. So on this high, the RSI topped out, and you made a higher high and a lower high on the RSI. So that's definitely a sign of weakness. Plus, when I combine this with imbalances, as I said, you would have liked to see maybe some imbalances on the move up. I can show you an example on Bitcoin. This move up on Bitcoin, you can see how you have imbalances on the moves up. So you have daily imbalance. This is a good sign, a daily imbalance. On this early move, you had 2 daily imbalances. So you like to see these when you move higher. You're not seeing these on the stock market, which is a bit of a sign of concern in my opinion. Plus, you combine this with the divergences. It's starting to look a bit overextended, and I am taking this into consideration with my crypto analysis, meaning we could top out soon on Bitcoin, or maybe we have topped out already on Ethereum. Same thing. I am looking for a deviation above the all-time high. This is something to keep in mind. Everything is super overextended. I mean, this rally is just, yeah. For the levels, I don't have any level because it's an all-time high, and I don't think Fibonacci is going to offer much right there. Let me think of something maybe. Can go on the 12-hour to see. And see, the only imbalance you have is down there. It's not something I like. Yeah, I don't have too much of analysis on the stock market, except that I think we could top out soon. Maybe for a bit of a retracement down there. Plus, we still have that gap. So yeah. Not too much input. I have to be honest. I don't see too much anything super interesting for the S&P. It's just been like this relentless grind higher that is getting a bit slower right now. And you have the bearish divergences. Will you be selling your stocks? I have thought about it. I think tomorrow, depending on my on my mood, I will look probably to offload some stocks. I mean, we've had big rallies. I forgot to look at my stuff. So Sophie, that's been such a big rally. AMD as well, massive rally. Yeah, I will probably look to offload some stocks tomorrow. I think this would be a good idea. But I just want to see what happens first on Bitcoin because I do actually base my stock investments on Bitcoin. Like how overextended Bitcoin is to the downside or to the upside. Well, when Great Recession? I have no idea. I don't predict recessions. I think it's a bad mindset to try to predict recessions. Usually, if you try to do this, what you'll end up being is a perma bear because you'll always focus on the weak points of the economy, which has a lot of weak points, and you'll constantly be calling for recession. So I don't try to call for recessions. I just look at charts, and you buy when it's cheap. I'm talking about investments. You buy when it's cheap and sell when it's expensive. It's that simple. For recession, I have no idea. I'm mainly an analyst, not an economist. And even then, I don't see any economist calling accurately every recession. I don't think I've ever seen this. Okay, guys. So if we don't have any more questions, I think that should be it. So this will be my main scenario. I really like it because I think this is a very strong level. I think this is a very strong level. I think this is a very strong level. This is how I would look to play it. If we jump into this level, as I said, you get the reaction. I will open the long position. Wait for the reaction. I always say this. Why am I looking for that bounce? Well, this downtrend has been too suppressed, so we have a lot of shorts to squeeze. I haven't showed you this on Binance, but you can see, for example, you have two early imbalances right there, which I am looking to get recovered. This one hasn't been recovered yet, which is a good sign. If we drop from here, another 30 minutes, you can see we had 4 hour imbalances in a row. So we do have a lot of shorts to clean up to the upside, which is why I am looking for a bounce. You bounce from here and you leave the wickless daily candle behind, as I said before, so you do a straight move up. This will offer a very confident short position, in my opinion. Getting the job first and getting the bounce could still offer another short position, but this one will simply be a bit less confluent. Can you do Sol? Okay, so I'll do Solana and the live, except if you have more questions, just send them right now quickly. But I think we'll do Solana and the live stream, okay? Because I've done the recap on Bitcoin, we've talked about alts, we've talked about the stock market, and now let's just end it on Solana. Do you have a bear market low idea? No. What do you mean, by the way, a bear market low idea? Do you mean the upcoming bear market? Okay, so we can look at Solana. Man, this one. This is quite a big rejection. So on this one, you should definitely look for lower. Just how much? I really like this level. You have a big wick. You have a partially filled 12-hour imbalance. Okay, this will be your first level. Now we look at the volume profile. It's a stack. So you have the value area low down there. I would mark this as an area with the 4-hour open. Something like this. Okay. For the point of controls, they're coming below, so that's not super interesting. We can look at the uptrend. Same thing. The 1 hour, I want to look at this range. So you do have that interesting volume down there. Let's keep it pretty simple. Anchored VWAP. We haven't seen a super confident anchored VWAP yet. So it is coming inside that first area, but that's now. So if Solana takes a bit to drop, so maybe does something like this, the anchored VWAP will be higher. So this one isn't actually confluent. I mean, yeah, this would be your first area. Let me look at the daily very quickly. This would be my level. What is this one? Yeah. So this would be your first area. You lose it. This would be your second area, 150, which I talked about before. This one will be a very big level for Solana to hold. So your first area would ideally be 171-ish. Okay, so around 170, this will be a pretty important area. And then you can look for that bounce higher. If you lose it, the very big level will be down there, 150. And if you lose this level on Solana, this would be a massive sign of weakness, okay? So you don't want to lose this level. Does it get reached? I don't think so, because Solana doesn't really look like it wants to move a lot. Volatility has been pretty low. So I think this level would kind of follow that trend, maybe drop, and then continue higher. This would be your best, this would be my best bet on Solana. Yeah. I didn't find the best conference on it, I have to be honest, but it would be this, just around 170. This is the best area that I could find. And I do like it, I do like it. So, in the past, did you macroeconomic analysis? Don't you do that? Yes, I used to do that, and it didn't help me at all for my trading. So I stopped doing that. I don't do macroeconomic analysis for my trading. I think it's pretty useless, and it just doesn't affect my levels. It's like it's as simple as that. So I stopped doing it. It played too much with my mental. Like I used to be too bearish sometimes when I should not have been. The main one that I can remember was when I missed my long at I will never forget this one, but 52.4 was the level that I gave. I still remember 52.4. It was this one, 52.5. This was the only level that we had for this entire downtrend. Plus, I was short from this high, and I didn't take the long because I was a bit too iffy about the macroeconomics because of the carry trade and stuff like that. And I did end up paying the price because we got a massive rally after this. Now, I did call another low, which I did long, which was this one at 59k. It was this imbalance. You can see you had the partial fill, you jump into it, and you got the bounce to the upside. But yeah, I don't do macro analysis anymore because, again, my levels will never change. With or without news, they will never change. Okay, everyone. So that were my question. Thank you for the live. Okay, so that should be it. I will not do a recap on Bitcoin because you can see the plan right there, and I have explained the logic behind it twice already. So with that said, thank you everyone for asking questions. I really do appreciate it, so I cannot thank you enough. And with that said, I will see you all tomorrow inside of the Discord, and spend a lovely evening. Goodbye everyone, and